Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. This is Chris from the Herf House Podcast, sitting here with two good friends of mine, and we're going to talk about several topics today. Don't know what, so we're just going to start this cigar lounge business.
We actually smoking with you guys. I've been smoking with you guys for 20 years now, you know what I'm saying? But we always wanted to open a cigar lounge. We were going to, other lounges and just felt like, we should have our own. And one day Mark's this place became available. Mark's father-in-law owns it, and who the tenant before us had moved out, and Mark's father-in-law went to him and said, "Hey, didn't you and Lamont want to open a lounge?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I got a spot for you." So we just put it together. It just came together like that, kind of quick, So.
And it's a nice little spot. It's kind of out of the way, but not too out of the way.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to find, but it is easy to find if you really want to look. It's very... So how's it been for the last year? And that year went by fast because with COVID and everything, that year went by fast. So how's it been for the last year?
Yeah, I think July, so not quite a year, but July will be a year. And it's been going good, better than expected for COVID, I feel, So, we have to be a little wary or conscious of, how many people we have in here and everything like that. But it's been self-sustaining, and I'm hoping, when the COVID restrictions lift, that we can, we'll grow even more. But I'm optimistic because we have been able, the business has been sustaining through COVID, and we opened during COVID, so it looks like it'll be good.
So, give a little insight in the cigar lounge. How has it been socially to have a cigar lounge? I mean, we've all been to lounges prior to this, and my aspect is it's always been a friendly type of crowd that smokes cigars and comes together. And, you meet a lot of new different people. Have you met a lot of new people? And I know you have a group of friends. We all come here and everything. So how has it been with outsiders, just everyday guy walking off the street?
It's been really good, Everybody's different. So, that's a good thing. We get a different mix of guys. We had a guy who lived down the road, showed up here for the first time last night, chiropractor. He was a quiet, cool guy. We have other guys that just want to come in and read, sit in the corner by themselves and read. Some guys want to come in and watch sports. And then we also have, some guys want to come in and, probably most people want to come in and just have, some cool, quiet conversations, But like you said, something about cigars mellows out the conversation because I have had, some big discussions about politics or about, the social climate in America, and we've had I've had opposing views with some of the customers, but it was never, to the point where it was F you, what I'm saying?
We're not going to talk anymore.
Yeah, we're not going to talk anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
Delete me on Facebook.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's cigars or what, but it just feels like it's when you sit here in the lounge and you talk about it, it doesn't get into a shouting match. It doesn't, come to fisticuffs.
Yeah, it seems like, we smoke at home. It's kind of different than smoking in a lounge because I think, like you said, people just come here to read. They look at this as a getaway. You get away from home, even though if you may be alone at home and you're smoking, it's not the same when you're smoking in the lounge type setting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris.
I agree 100%.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, real quick, just to share my thoughts while we're on the topic. I mean, to your point, we've been to so many different cigar lounges, restaurants, anywhere that gave us the opportunity to smoke cigars. And from my standpoint, maybe it's a biased opinion, but this is the one area where this is the one lounge that I feel like it's super inclusive, inviting to all walks of life. It's a place where you can just hang your hat and just kind of relax and have those conversations with just about anybody around about anything. I've probably invited over 20 to 30 different people to come here and hang out. Just told them about it, told them about the price points from a cigar standpoint, told them about the atmosphere itself, and every person that stopped by and come here and either purchased or hung out for a while had nothing but great things to say about it. So, and again, maybe it's biased, but knowing these guys for as long as I've known them, I knew it'd be a great time. But hearing the feedback from those folks that come here and patron the lounge, it's great to hear. So I'm pretty sure this place is going to be around for a long time.
Now, do you find it when you bring up the fact that you're cigar smokers to people who don't cigar that they find that interesting? I've known a few people who've never smoked cigars and asked me, well, what's it like? Kind of like, what's it like to smoke? I want to try one. What should I try first and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, what's funny is I remember we had a conversation a couple of years back, and they said that statistically there's been a steady increase in cigar smoking for like the last 10 to 15 years. So you could see a rise in sales and cigar events, cigar venues, et cetera, et cetera. So now there's a lot of people who probably have had a cigar in their, have tried to smoke it, but don't really understand, like, appreciating it. Like, it tastes too strong, or it doesn't feel right. And oh my God, it tastes terrible. So, once you start having that dialogue and you start explaining the beautiful world of cigar smoking, the different types that you can smoke and what cigar you should try to enjoy, whether it's flavored, whether it's mild. Once you start getting into the nooks and crannies of the cigar world, that's when people start to mature and really understand what it's about.
It's kind of like, for me, it kind of reverts back to when I first started cigars. I really had nobody to talk to about what type of cigar to smoke, how to properly smoke it, how to cut it, didn't know a thing about toasting it, or any of the components that a cigar is made up for. Now you have this new generation have people like us, because cigar, like you said, cigar smoking has become more prevalent, especially among women. Mm-hmm. A lot more women are smoking cigars now. Yeah. And we never had that.
No.
And now it seems like this newer generation is kind of fortunate in that way, that that has become more popular, and there's people out there who would love to share the knowledge, whatever knowledge they have of cigar, with other people. Mm-hmm. Yep. When did you first start smoking cigars? Man. What cigar was it?
I think it was like a Philly blunt. It was probably my first, with a real, like, with everything inside of it. Saying that, not splitting it open. A real Philly blunt.
Kept the same tobacco in it.
Kept the same short leaves in it, short fillers in it. I think I started on those. Just thinking I was cool. Like we all was, thinking I was cool. I think I mentioned before that my grandfather was a heavy cigar smoker. And, it was kind of one of those things, looking grown, trying to be like grandpa or something, my grandfather. And so I started with those, and then it was like, I think I moved up to like Garcia Vegas, like with you guys, one of the ones in the glass tube.
Yes, the Cristal.
The Cristal, yeah, Cristal. So went to those, and then I think, as I think my taste grew as I got with you guys, because it was crazy that you guys were into cigars. We were onto it at a young age, and then started getting into our Fuentes and stuff like that. And then, like, we all grew, together, and with our cigar knowledge and experience, and everything like that, and love for the cigars.
Chris, your first cigar?
Oh man, my first true cigar was a Philly blunt. I think you and I were the ones that we used to take it from my brother's dresser, because my brother used the Philly blunt for other purposes. So we used to take his Philly blunts just to be antagonistic as the little brother. And then one day, I'm pretty sure because I always follow your lead, basically growing up. But you were like, "Yo, let's smoke it," and I was like, "All right," and we smoked it, and it sucked, but we thought it looked cool.
Terrible.
We thought it looked cool to Lamont's point, and then actually the first Garcia Vegas you bought after that were actually the blue tubes.
Yes.
So this was even before the crystals. You started bringing the blue tubes around.
Yes, I remember those.
And they were like in 4-packs in the plastic.
Yep.
And we had no idea. We didn't even, because the Garcia Vegas are already they already have the hole in it, so there was no cutting involved.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, there's no cutting involved. So we would light it up, and we would have like matches. We couldn't afford lighters. We had matches. So but like, if you recall, like we were at a graduation party, you know what I'm saying? And we have pictures where we're literally smoking Garcia Vegas, and we thought that we were like the Don Juans when Garcia Vegas were like $1 a stick.
Oh, God, yeah. We thought we were the shit with the fucking Garcia Vega.
And then the blue tubes turned to the brown tubes, and then we really thought we found something.
Oh, we upgraded.
And then when to Lamont's points, when the crystal tubes came in, we were like, "Oh, forget it. This is like a Cuban."
Yeah.
I remember.
So, so then after all that, we I think the first cigar that I was actually introduced to that I was like, okay, was an Arturo Fuente. Had no idea. I saw the back end of it, and I actually thought that it wasn't smokable. I was like, I don't think I can do this. Then I learned the cutting and all that. And again, we weren't even 18 yet, and this is happening. And then it just grew from there.
I remember the one time when we started buying premium cigars, and your brother had asked for one, and you had given him one, and then you found out that he had repurposed the wrapper for another use.
Man.
And the look of disappointment on his face when he found out, he was like, "Oh, damn! If I would have known that, I'd have gave you one of the cheap ones."
Yep. Because that was it, right? Because I mean, there wasn't that much money circulating, so you would have like 13 crystal, Garcia Vegas, but in there you'd maybe have one or two Arturo Fuentes
for a special occasion.
Yeah.
So he ends up taking the Al Fuente and does what he does with it, and terrible.
Remember back in the good old days, we used to just like smoke on a special occasion.
Yeah, somebody's having we would smoke the actual cigars that people would pass out.
It's a
if they
boy,
had
it's a
kids.
girl.
Yeah.
Those are terrible.
Remember those?
That you buy in the gift shop at the hospital. You sit there like kings of New York, just sitting there smoking.
Yeah, there's some people still got them old ones 20 years ago on the shelf somewhere.
I
was
still
popping them open.
I still have one from my oldest when she was born. I still have one of those.
That's pretty cool. What is your, so I can ask you two gentlemen, what is your favorite or go-to cigar right now? It's hard to say favorite, right? Because it kind of changes, especially time of year, weather, and all that stuff. But what's your go-to right now? I'll start off with you, Chris.
Right.
Well, I'll smoke just about anything. My palate is very broad in that sense. Like we were talking about the Smiling Moose cigars.
Yeah, Chillin' Moose.
Chillin' Moose.
Yeah.
I will smoke those. I enjoy those. There's another cigar called Back to Back, but my go-to, if I had it, would be one of the Drew Estate cigars.
Yeah.
Uzi Weighs the Tongue?
That, and now I'm drawing a brain fart on the other one. One of his any of his flavored cigars.
The acids?
Yeah, I'll have one of those. But Uzi Weighs a Ton. That's kind of my go-to. I don't know why, but I just enjoy that brand.
I wonder if that's helping, like you guys were mentioning before about, more women getting into smoking. I wonder if Drew Estate making such quality flavored cigars is helping that, that movement along, because he has the acids that, I usually see like women are smoking. They start with the acids like a Blondie or something like that. And he has like so many different types of flavored cigars that are still good quality smokes. Like when we remember, back in the day, a flavored cigar was trash. And from what I remember, it was trash, and, it was like unheard of, like in the cigar world, like, so you're smoking a flavored cigar, that's not a real cigar type of thing. Now, I see guys coming in because, they got the dead wood that we have up in there now, Crazy Alice and Fat Bottom Betty and, all these cool names,
I hear that a lot. The Fat Bottom Belly.
Fat Bottom Betty, yeah, because those are Maduros, and they're like that one. There we have is like a big, it's a Gordo. I think it's like a 54-inch ring. 54
gauge.
on the gauge ring, and I think a 5.5-inch cigar, and so it doesn't look like one of those little cigarellos anymore, But I wonder if that's helping, the movement that women are really into it.
I definitely see that. That's a great point. So it's a shameless plug, though. You remember when we were hanging out with Drew Estate at one of the cigar events?
Yeah.
And he told us that we should be like a rap group or something?
Yeah.
He called all of us five guys.
Five
guys, burgers and fries.
Five guys, burgers and fries.
But he is a cool dude, real down to earth.
But he did give us the advice, if you're going to start a lounge, make sure it's out of the way, but not too out of the way.
Yep.
Because there's
I forgot he said that. Yeah.
some type of anonymity people like when they go to a cigar lounge.
Yep.
And, they don't want to be, he's there or he's there.
Mm-hmm.
What's your cigar choice, Lamont?
Mine is pretty much the same. I like the. I'm starting to now really like the Liga Privadas, and like the number 9s and the T52s. Starting to really like those, and those are Drew Estate's lines too. I think he's taking a lot of the business, with him. A lot of people, because he has such a wide array of cigars. You can find whatever you like in that. And I think other than that, like my go-to is like a Perdomo. I like those Perdomos.
Those are good.
Yeah,
real good.
I like
really, really, really good.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna just ask, what about you, Chris? Real?
Oh man, you already know, which you can find right here at Big Ash Cigar. But I actually was introduced to this cigar right here in this beautiful establishment, and it's the Blind Man
Man Bluff.
Oh man,
Yeah.
So that cigar, it's like a medium smoke. Again, it's probably like a 52, 54 gauge. But that cigar is super tasty. A little bit of bite to it, and that's my go-to. It's been my go-to ever since I was introduced to this probably 6-7 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Year-round, like, it does change. Like, during the summer, I might have the tendency to go a little milder, do Macanudos. The Alfuentes are always a fun one. And during the winter, I tend to go a little more bolder with it, so you'll see me digging into some Dominican Cohibas around that time. If you notice, I'm not mentioning Cubans because in my opinion, it's just my opinion, Cubans it was all about the name, it was all about the staple. It's not, there's so many great cigar makers, in my opinion, right now that you can find a taste and a quality in some other cigars that, other than a Cuban. So
I agree.
Cuban's not even really in my top 3 cigars right now, honestly.
Well, a lot of the rollers, and we found out doing a cigar fed, a lot of the rollers in Cuba have left years ago when the embargo starts. So your best cigars are coming out of like the Dominican Republic, and, Nicaragua, and all those.
Dominicano puro.
Yeah, so you got a lot of the growers or the farmers and the rollers. I mean, they brought seeds with them, so you can get Cuban seeds in these other countries and all. And it's
so
they've caught up.
Absolutely. So to the people out there and to the folks that are dying to get into the cigar world and enjoy a wonderful stick, don't feel like you're obliged to have to smoke a Cohiba, or at least a Cuban Cohiba. It's not necessary. If you have one, if you offer me one, I'm smoke it. But you don't need to have that. There are so many great cigars. Take your time with it, enjoy it, and figure out which one is the one that's right for you, or the ones that are right for you.
Now, I remember my first smoke was Tiparillo.
Oh my goodness!
I thought that little white tip on the end of that cigar looked so cool.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even smoking it properly. I just did it so I could hang out at the high school outside between classes with all the other smokers.
That's funny.
And
what high school? What high school?
Beacon High School. Old Beacon High School.
Kent Street? Are we talking about Kent Street?
Yeah. And I remember being out there too long, and there was a substitute teacher doing the hall monitoring. She came out. We didn't know it then, but now she would be a Karen. Mm-hmm. She came out and, I want your name. And I remember giving given Johnny's name, of our friend Johnny, his full name.
Shout out to Johnny Reynoso.
And he said, I got called down to the office today. And, and I just started laughing.
That's great.
And I told her, I said, yeah, I gave your name because I got in trouble for being out in between period.
With like a stash of Tiparillos in his backpack.
So how you? He goes, they were going to give me in-house suspension. I told him it wasn't me. I had to have the teacher come down and say I was in class at that time.
Ah, man, that's good. That's great.
So yeah, Tiparillos was my first. I used to get them at the little gas station right down where we used to buy candy.
Oh man,
I used to buy them there.
Right on the way to school.
Right on the way to school.
How do you do that? Can I get a few Bazooka Joes and a Tiparillo?
I asked for apple pie and a pack of Tiparillos.
The Hostess apple pie.
The Hostess apple pie, Tiparillo, and a soda.
What was the drink of choice back then?
Orange soda.
I mean, I know you represent Pepsi now, but
No, Orange Crush.
Orange
Crush was my soda back then.
Great.
Orange soda was my drink back then.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Speaking of new cigar brands, and there's a new cigar brand. I don't know if you heard about from CAO, the Bones line.
Bones line, I think so. I think I've seen it.
Now the Bone, yeah, that's something if you want to start selling here, I'd buy.
Yeah.
There's 4 in the line, and they're called Bones because each cigar in that line, it's an homage to dominoes.
Yeah.
And dice playing.
Yep.
Which dominoes is a big game played in cigar lounges.
Yep.
And there's 4 in the line. And they're all named after dominoes, variations of dominoes games.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken Foot, the Matador, and now I'm losing on the other 2. But I smoked the Matador.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Big Huey. That's what it is. That's the other one. The Big Huey, which is a very great blend. It's Nicaraguan, Dominican tobacco. Yep. Connecticut broadleaf. It was the wrapper and the binder and all, and a shade leaf for the binder. So that's a really good cigar. I just found out recently on that. Yep. So
yeah, you nailed it.
Plug to CAO. If that's something you're looking to do. I'm sure you would get a lot of buyers on that because their CAO, their whole big thing. The guy who created Rick Rodriguez, his whole thing is like, this is about lounges and just coming together and just hanging out. And just a cigar that suits everything.
Yeah.
If you're grilling, if you're playing dominoes, if you're just relaxing, it's good mixer for whiskey, bourbons, and especially IPAs, which is now big.
Yeah.
Nice. Just to add to the description, you nailed it. It is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, Nicaraguan, Dominican tobacco, medium to bold smoke. And it's available in all sizes: Churchill, Gigante, Robustos, and Toros.
Yeah, the Big Huey is a 6-inch, 54 gauge cigar.
We have the CAO goals and the Italians in here. The CAO Brasilia goal, and they go so fast. You also
have the CAO flatheads, which are awesome.
Yes, flatheads are also awesome. CAO makes a good line of cigars, but I can't keep those Brasilias in here. Like, they go so fast as we get them in here. But, they're definitely really good company.
Yeah. I had a question for you, Lamont. Like, how do you, going back to, Chris's comments regarding introducing new folks to cigars, I'm sure you must have people come in here and just kind of be like, I want to smoke something. I'm not sure what I want. Like, what's that process like? How do you walk them through it? How do you introduce them to something? Like,
I kind of asked, like, have you ever smoked before? You know what I'm saying? And try to get gauge from there, what they might like far as, on a scale from the mild to the full. And, but really, I really start them with, like, Connecticut wrapper. If you have never smoked cigars before, because some people come in and it's like, I don't really know much about cigars, but they have smoked, saying on occasion, or they have smoked it. Now they're looking to broaden, their palate. And but if they never smoked, I usually guide them towards a Connecticut wrapper, like the one you're smoking there is really popular. That's like my go-to. The Perdomo, I think that's a 10-year champagne. Yeah, yes, 10-year anniversary champagne.
It is delicious.
Yeah, that's usually where I send people the first, and I send them there first because it is a mild taste, but it is flavorful and it's good, and it and it still has that. It's a larger gauge. What is that? think a 54,
That's like-
56.
Yeah, I would say 54.
And it still gives the person that feeling like I'm holding a big stick in their hand, because usually when guys first come, they want to smoke, they want to have a large or big cigar, and I get them there, and then they usually come back for that same one, and then they're like, okay, I want to try something else, and then that's when I start to move them on to something a little more medium, and then see where they go from there.
Now, to add on to that and go back to what you said about women, more women smoking cigars. Do you have more women coming into the lounge?
Nah, not as usually. Women come in, with their partner, but they are smoking. They come in with their partner and they're smoke.
Or a lot of them like first time cigar smokers?
Some of them are, yeah. Some of them are, and I will direct them straight to, because I've seen such a good feedback from them. I'll direct them straight to the Deadwoods, the Drew Estate, Crazy Alice, because Crazy Alice is cone shaped, it's short, and it's small, so it kind of looks sexy in the hand, and it has a.
What do you think about the Bettys? They probably would fall in that area too.
They would probably with the Bettys and all, but they kind of gravitate towards the Crazy Alice, I guess, because of the shape of it and the way it looks, the sugar skull on the band and all that, and they go from there,
Nice.
Yeah. The increase of women smoking. I remember when we used to go to the cigar fest. That first year we went there, it was a sausage fest. Nothing but there was an occasional woman like working or there with a crowd. But
really
towards the years, you've seen the increase of more.
Someone might be
females.
offended by what you just said.
Excuse me, I'm old school.
Yeah. Damn it, if we can't say what we want to say.
Turn it down.
I'm sorry if I'm not woke yet. But,
You're caveman.
but
You're
you saw
Nice.
You've offended us.
Knuckle dragger.
I want to throw something out there. One question for both you guys. Love to get your feedback on it. Number one is, what cigars? Not again, it's all a matter of perspective and what you're looking for. But what cigars would you tell people to stay away from? And then my other question would be, what are some don'ts in the cigar world? What are some of the things that kind of bug you in the cigar world?
What would bug me, especially, and I used to do it as a kid when I first started smoking, because you saw it on TV, when somebody bites the end of a cigar off and leaves it in their mouth too long, where it becomes this muddy, squishy mess that I can't stand.
Agreed. I agree.
That's one of the things. And the way if a guy holds it a certain way,
that's true.
Somebody with just the tip of their fingers and they're, like they're.
It's almost like they don't
tea,
like they're reluctant.
Yeah. Just grip it like it's yours. Nobody's gonna take it away from you.
On a roach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are my pet peeves right there.
And any sticks you would caution people to stay away from, possibly?
I usually mentally block out a stick that I've ever smoked before, and I just don't remember. It's disgusting. But if you're gonna start, we started on the cheap ones because we were young. But if somebody wanted to start, I would stay away from those over-the-counter gas station cigars. Some gas stations are selling premium cigars, but
good point.
Over-the-counter cigars. Start with something
And that's a great
like.
point, because how many gas stations do you walk into now where they either have a walk-in humidor or at least a humidor sitting on the countertop to get a really good quality stick now these days?
And
Lamont?
I think to add on to what you said, I think that's probably, now thinking about it, that gives the cigar smoking the bad rep. You know what I mean? Because those things, you smoke them, they stink really bad.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They're not good to begin with. So then you have everyone like, cigars are nasty and they stink and stuff like that. I think it's because you're smoking an inferior product. But what I would tell people? The question was, what I tell people to stay away from?
Yeah, there was 2 parts. What cigars, if there are any, that you would, caution folks against smoking, and then what are some, characteristics? There's some things that you see in the cigar world that you'd prefer not to see.
I would caution newbies to stay away from full body.
That's good.
Sometimes they want to jump in and they just want the full body.
That's a great point.
Oh man. You know what I'm saying? Give me the strongest thing you got. Make mine red eye.
Yeah, like a first-time drinker. Hey, I'm not going to start on beer. I'm going to go all the way up to tequila.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Everclear,
Great point. Everclear. Moonshine.
And you know what's funny? It's kind of like that with alcohol. What do we start off drinking? Wild Irish Rose and Mad Dog.
Mad Dog 2020.
Cisco
and all that.
Yeah.
That shit that would make you blind in the summer. If you drink too much.
Exactly. What was the second part of
the second part was what are things in the cigar world that bug you, like you could do without?
I'll say, in the cigar world and then the cigar lounge, like the etiquette. Do not lick your cigar and then cut it with a community with a community cutter.
Love it.
And I've seen that. Yes. I've seen
Love it. Such great point.
I want to put a sign up in here.
You should. What is the purpose of licking the cigar? You see that on movies, like older movies where somebody has a cigar, they lick the sides of it and all that. What is the purpose?
I know what I have. Like if I left a cigar in the car, and I go to cut it and it breaks. If it's my lighter, my cutter, my cigar,
right.
I'm not sharing with anyone else.
Right. Yeah.
I will before I go to cut it. I'll put it in my mouth. The tip of it, put it in my mouth. Moisten it a little bit. So I think it helps it not split. Sometimes if you have a dry cigar,
Sure.
not split when you cut it.
Sure.
Especially if you're using like the guillotine.
Sure.
But other than that, that's your cigar, your cutter. You know what I'm saying? So that. And
great point.
Probably that's it. Like you were saying, when people just chewing the back of it, I don't know what that is. Down to like you said, it just looks like mud or in the mouth and stuff. And pretty much, other than that, there's really no rules. You know what I mean? There's certain things you want to refine the way that you're cutting it. Your experience, the experience, you want to refine it a little bit. But that's the thing about cigars. It's really no rules. It's just
True. I agree.
Just do what you must, and then I'll try to refine it as you go along.
I am chomping at the bit because I would love to share my pet peeve.
Go ahead, man. This is your thing. This is your question.
This is your
question, bro. He's ready for this.
He's ready. He don't want just
He's
let
like, I
it.
just want to hear what the hell they got to say
No.
first, and then I'm going to.
You guys made some fabulous points, man. But I would caution folks against factory-made tobaccos, the ones that you can buy like 1,000 of them for $1. Those cigars.
I love those.
Ah, man.
No, I'm just
I mean, those are.
How dare you?
Even if you're in a pinch and you happen to have one of those in there, but
Bandinos?
yeah. Oh man. All right. So I was guilty of it, right? When you guys came over when we were younger, I always had like a box of Thompson cigars.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And they were
What
right.
was that cigar
See?
that you bought that tasted like plastic when you smoked? Oh my! And he would be notorious. You got to smoke? Here, 30.
It was.
I'm like, 30.
It's
okay.
probably the Thompson.
Yeah, it was a Thompson.
Yeah.
He was like, here's 30. Keep them. No, I'll be like,
But that's
you're great. And I look at it and be like, motherfucker.
They're mass produced, poorly done. It's all filler tobacco. It's not like a fine tobacco. They're just terrible.
Yeah.
Here's my don't. Please don't. To the point where if this is happening, just get away from me or don't even smoke by me. So the beauty of the cigar world is we're in it because we love the way it tastes. We love the different varieties they offer. We even enjoy the new flavored cigars. Why are you spitting while you smoking?
Yeah.
Why are you spitting while you're smoking? If you're spitting, that means when you're eating
your breakfast sandwich, do you spit out the bacon?
You spit out the sesame seeds.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I don't like sesame seeds.
That's it. So like, so if
Yeah.
you're spitting, dude, just put the cigar down and just walk away. Like it's not meant for you.
Well,
It's not.
sometimes I do it because you get the leaf breaks off or it doesn't cut clean and you get a little leaf in your mouth and you
yeah.
want to spit it. But
I get
yes,
that.
no, but
No, I
you're
get
talking
that.
about
Yeah.
like they're chewing tobacco.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
taking, dragging it.
Yeah, and it took a couple minutes.
And usually when after that first spit, you know it's gonna be like followed up with like a few more. It's just like just give it up, man. It's not your taste.
There was when I was a kid, there was a gentleman in the Heights that lived next to my grandmother, Preston, and he was a avid cigar smoker, and that's where I got the draw for Garcia Vega because that's what he would smoke. I mean, he would buy boxes of and he would give me the empty cigar boxes and the empty tubes, and that's where I got the love for the smell of
No,
tobacco.
hold on a second. I need to know what were you doing with the boxes and empty tubes?
Put toys in them and play with them. I was a kid. What else would you do? What else would you do?
Where are you going with that? He
What
said
are
he was
we
a
doing
kid,
with
man.
You take the little cigar tubes and you fill them up with water and pretend they're
Oh, man,
poison,
yeah.
or an antidote to give you
Yeah,
superpowers.
man, you ain't never done that.
No, fucking
It's like a
idiot.
test tube. You put like a drink in it. You be like,
Fill it up with
man,
a
what type of
little with
childhood
some
is that?
yoo-hoo and be like, oh, I'm gonna get superpowers by
Yeah,
drinking
man.
this potion.
yeah, they're shaped like test tubes. You throw it in the
And
antidote.
then
my
the
God.
little boxes,
that
you
is
put your
so
Matchbox cars in it
Yeah,
and
this
stuff
dude
like that.
here
Like
left,
storage.
he left the lounge last week with like 50 empty boxes, and he asking what you
You know why? Because he's trying to make a cigar banjo. That's what he's trying to do.
Damn, I'm gonna make a cigar
Yeah.
banjo. Ain't no hole in the wash tub.
But he was the one that really got me hooked on cigars. That's
Yeah.
because of the smell of tobacco. But he was always the one, old man, kept it he always had a cigar in his mouth, no
Yep,
matter what.
yep.
Even if it wasn't lit, but it was always
Yeah.
mushed on the end,
Yep,
like he'd
yep.
have it in his teeth, and he would
That was my
just
grandfather.
smoke it. It was like, oh,
Gotcha. That's good stuff.
don't knock childhood.
I'm not.
Toys?
I was deprived. I
What are
apologize for
you?
that.
What do you do with your cigar boxes?
I repurposed them, dude. I repurposed them.
That's a cool word, but what do you do? with
How do you repurpose a cigar box?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for asking.
Thank you.
look, he's setting up questions.
I know he's setting up questions.
I didn't even ask that. So, I mean, storage is number one thing, especially if you have like small items in a garage. They are perfect for that. Okay, at work, so you have like you guys kind of know you say I'm OCD, which I'm not, but
Let's keep talking.
in the drawers in the drawers of my job, I keep my pens and markers organized using cigar boxes. And it's nice and neat. So when you pull it out, I can literally say to you, go to my left drawer, top, back, right side of it, and you'll find your purple marker. That's that's beauty of cigar boxes. But also they can be used for, and I'm looking at both of y'all because y'all getting ready to snap on me, and you better not. But you can actually make gift boxes out of them. Actually, I'll tell you another. Ruben, when he asked me to be his best man for his wedding, he had the cigar box. He had a few of the cigars in it, and then he had it laid, with colored paper and stuff like that. And in it was a card, and the card said in it, will you be my best man? So like things like that, like it's pretty cool. You can just repurpose and use for different things like that. So, and you've had some women like get creative with it, man. Use it for like party decor, stuff like that, especially for like men's birthdays who love cigar smoking, and they just have some fun with it. You can put candies in it, stuff in it.
We have a table over here Mark's wife made out of cigar boxes.
Well,
Shout out to
End
Lisa
table,
for
little
being
end table.
shout out to Lisa for being like-minded and understanding the value of an empty cigar box.
well, let me apologize for being 6 years old at the time. I didn't know how to make those. I thought it was just going to be put my little action figures in them.
He didn't know that they were used for
I didn't
the
know
office
you could make
to put
office
markers in.
supplies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, now you do.
Well, thank you. Good. That's a good craft
Lesson.
for me now. So
You're going to have the
know what?
craft portion of the podcast. From now.
your DIY cigar box,
And in today's cigar box,
asshole. What are you doing with the tubes?
Well, I use them
Well, I use it for. I put all my bougie accessories in.
Yeah, my highlighters is one box.
all right, next topic. Good stuff. I love it.
All right.
Let's talk about WandaVision. Just finished, just wrapped up. Great series. Started off a little slow for me until Chris started enlightening me more details about the backstory of it, and then it just grew to be a great show, in my opinion. And for those who don't know, WandaVision is a great Marvel Comics episode that was on Disney Channel, which just wrapped up, and now we're getting into, what is it now, the Super Soldier and Falcon.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
But let's talk about WandaVision.
Well, I loved it, and I'm sad that it's only going to be one season.
Yeah.
It did start off slow, but it explained why it started off slow
Yep.
in the latter episodes. So now you realize. But it did open me up to geekdom, and I found myself going down this rabbit trail of trying to find out more about Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
Because I never read them as a comic. I only knew Vision as a member of the East Coast or West Coast Avengers. Mm-hmm. And I always thought he was...
Which weren't even the more popular version of the
No, that was the offshoot.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
exactly.
the
Yep.
B team.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
B team
Exactly.
of the Avengers.
Yep.
And I never thought of him as a good superhero. Like, the color scheme was off.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know he was a robot. I thought he was an alien at that time as a
He was
kid.
like yellow or something like that in the
Yeah.
comic, right?
Yeah, he was
Skin
yellow
tone
and
or
green
something.
and
Yeah, yellow.
all that.
And at least during like my timeline of reading comics, I felt like his strengths were like they weren't consistent. Like one episode, one comic you read, and he'd have the ability to break down an entire building. And then the next episode, he's getting beat up by like someone that just has like a bat. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird.
Yeah, and in the movies, they really didn't show his true abilities or his powers. He was always getting in the Avengers. They were always rescuing him.
Yeah.
And he got his butt whooped.
Yes,
Yeah.
but back then I thought they were the Marvel's version of Batman and Robin. Wanda, I didn't even know her. She was a witch. Oh, all right, she's a sorceress. And
Yeah.
and same thing with Doctor Strange. I thought Doctor Strange's movie was really good too.
Really?
But seeing the detail that they go into with these comic books, all the Easter eggs and all the little things
Yep.
they put in it, and they've spent years doing this.
Yes.
And now DC's trying to catch up, which they kind of are falling flat on. They actually started discontinuing making any more
Yeah.
of expanding upon Zack Snyder's cut. But WandaVision was really good, seeing her struggle. That's what I wanted to see more, because they really didn't get to her pain. And recently they started doing a few movies like that. Brightburn was another one.
Yeah.
Where what happens if a superhero goes crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what they did. If she was a normal human, she'd be institutionalized or on some type of medication. But
Yep.
now she's got these abilities.
Or like they're saying, they would view her with those abilities as a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes,
You
and
know?
she has the potential. And seeing that
A threat. She was definitely a threat.
But then going into her comic book version on how she constantly was messing up the timeline because of her depression or constantly having psychotic breaks, and they didn't know what to do with her in the comic book. And it got to the point in one of the series where they were like, "We have to kill her. That's the only way we can deal with her is by killing her, because she's just keep messing up timelines all the time."
Yeah.
Because she has so much internal pain and struggle and stuff. But
What's
I
your
really
take on it, Lamont?
I just think that it's amazing what they're doing right now with all these, superheroes and comic books, bringing them to life, and they're not just making them superheroes really anymore. Like you were saying with Wanda, like they're actually giving them like real life situations, real life emotions, and they're moving into different genres. You know what I mean? Like this one here was almost, they did it like a sitcom style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they pulled it off, masterfully. They had that one, New Mutants. You know what I'm saying? That was like a horror flick. You know what I mean? They have things on Netflix that are, little kids. I can't remember, Saving Davion or something like that. Whereas, the little kid is like dealing with, young kid dealing with having superpowers, and they're making love stories out of superheroes, you know, and everything like that. And it's just like, it's amazing because, you know, we grew up with comic books, and now we're adults and we're just seeing all this stuff brought to life. And it's just not really we don't have to feel bad that we're looking at comic books because they're making it
for adults.
You know what I mean? They're giving it real life, you know, scenarios in it. I love it.
People are getting emotional attachments
to
some of the characters, like in Endgame.
Iron Man, Tony Stark,
but in the one prior to that with Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Where they blamed him for the blip. Mm-hmm. And Chris Pratt, the actor, was getting hate mail. People were physically threatening him harm for ruining the plan.
How many hate mail letters did you guys write to him?
I will not comment. There's an ongoing investigation, and I plead the fifth. And like also with the now the new one, Winter Soldier, people hate this guy.
Yeah.
The new Captain America.
Yeah.
Literally as an actor too.
Soon as they showed him.
Yeah.
Soon as they showed him in this Captain America suit, people went nuts. I went online and people were going nuts.
It's like with the movie Titanic, Billy Zane, who played the bad guy.
Yeah.
He can't get another job because he's hated so much for that acting. And
he's not
the only
either.
fault he did was act it well.
Yeah.
He was great in that part, and people hate him, and his career totally tanked after that movie.
Yeah.
And he even says it. He goes, I regret doing the film.
Yeah.
Because now it's hard to find a job because nobody, you know, I'm always the Titanic bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty cool in the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Falcon was intricate in saving the world, and then he can't get a loan. You know what I mean? Like, going back to the real world, and I just thought it was interesting perspective to put that into the series like that. So, you know, you learn about these people, you know, as action heroes, but you learn about them as not people. They're still characters, but you learn there's more to them, right? They're not just go fight bad guys. There's lives and stories behind them. I think it's pretty cool. I think that's what Marvel does great.
And like you were saying, with him when he gave up the shield, and I felt that was like really powerful. Like, you know, from I don't know if they're gonna address that, you know what I'm saying, at some point, you know, but he gives up the shield, and I think it was the very next episode they see him going to see the black Captain America.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying,
Isaiah.
who went to Isaiah, you know, and I saw it like Winter Soldier. It was like, yo, you gave it the shield, but me as a black dude, I'm like, the shield doesn't mean the same thing. It is his, but to me, it's not the same thing as you see it as. You know what I'm saying? As you would see it. And then they go and visit, and then you see this situation when they're outside and they're just arguing and they're harassing Falcon. You know what I'm saying? The cops. The cops are harassing Falcon, and even this dude, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, that's powerful. I don't know if that's where they're going with it, but that's what I've seen. But that's what I was talking about, these real-life scenarios, these real-life situations that they're putting us in that gets us invested, you know, fully invested in.
Well, it showed how different they were treated, where Captain America was this great guy and the picture of, you know, America at the time. And Isaiah, who they did the same thing to, was incarcerated and just tested on for over 30 years. Mm-hmm. And the thing about the shield being passed, I always think was like, why didn't he give it to Bucky? But it goes back to the first Avenger, where before he got the serum, right before, we were sitting with the doctor, and the doctor told him, basically told him, just be the best person you can be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Cap saw in Falcon.
Yeah.
He didn't see it in Bucky.
Yeah.
He said, just be the person. You're the only one that can carry this mantra on because you're the best person.
Yeah.
And I think Falcon doesn't think he can carry the mantra on. And I think his issue is he's trying to doesn't want to try to be Captain America, but he doesn't want to be himself because he doesn't think they'll accept him. Yeah. But Cap's like, basically be yourself. You're the best person.
That also ties into his ability to lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah, at first he wasn't because there was something in him.
Yeah, but there's even questions that he on purpose did not. Remember when they were having like the Thor lifting contest in the previous movie? They said that he could, but he just chose not to because he didn't want to unveil that.
And I don't think he thought he was worthy enough.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And
But
I
that's
think
what
that's
makes
what Sam's
that's what
thing
makes the
is.
character
Yeah.
a genuine person. You
And
know?
I think that's what Sam's thing is. He doesn't think he's worthy enough to carry that on. Where
Right,
Cap
right.
saw it in him, and said, "No, you're the only one that can carry this."
And that's where I was. Well, my point was that I wonder if that's where they're going with the season, where they're like, he as a black dude has issues that he needs to reconcile with the way he sees America. You know what I'm saying? I think that's, to me, I think that's why they threw in, Isaiah, saying in there. They had the situation with the cops, you know what I'm saying? They had the situation with him not being able to get a loan, you know what I'm saying? They keep showing these things where he's walking into situations and people are thinking he's someone lesser, you know what I'm saying, than he is because of how he's viewed here in this country. Mm-hmm. And he's like, either I need to reconcile or we need to do something here in America for me to be able to feel proud enough to hold that shield and represent the whole country. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think. That's what I saw in the show, and I don't know if they're going that route with it, but it seems like it.
That's pretty powerful. I hope they do go that direction.
It seems like they're putting a lot of realism into these
Yes.
things. Like, in the comic books, you never question where these guys are getting money from,
Yes.
but now you see they have no money. Even the guy asked me, he goes, "How are you guys making money?"
Yeah.
Was Iron Man paying for you guys? And you're like, yeah, how were they getting all this tech? How were they living on the run? How was all this happening?
Yep.
And to see their struggle, even though they have, super abilities or talents, there's a struggle there. Like, hey, my family business is going under, and we can't. Even though I'm Falcon, and I saved the helped save the galaxy, I can't get a loan.
Yep.
Nobody wants to finance me just to keep my family's boat fishing business running.
Yep.
And that's like, wow, like this guy was only worried about taking selfies and not saying, hey, I can help you. He basically said, oh, I can't do nothing for you.
Yeah.
But take a selfie with me so
Yeah.
I can show my family.
Yep.
And then tell him, no, we didn't get him loan because he has no credit. He's been gone for 5 years and
Yep.
he has no credit history.
Yeah, you would think that like after saving the world, they'd be going home to like either some lavish kingdom or a penthouse at the least. And they're going back to Hawkeye went back to his farm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Falcon goes back to try to help his sister. Like it's just.
And
I feel like I need to break out a little bread for them, man.
GoFundMe. Start a GoFundMe.
Did you guys see the last episode?
I haven't watched that one yet.
Okay. So
You could ruin it. I'll still watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go
Talk
for
about
it.
it.
remember I can't remember the agent that was with Captain America. She lived next door. She was
Carter.
Yeah.
Her name was Carter.
Carter,
Also.
Peggy's daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, not daughter, Peggy's niece.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter's niece. They bring her back, and she's off, and there's like I guess there's an island that's like used to be pirate, smuggling place, location where they would go and hide out and stuff like that. So this island has turned into like a place where just criminals go to, to work business and live and stuff like that. So they're having troubles in there, and then boom, they run into her, and they're dealing with a lot. What you guys are saying, a lot of issues. They're like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I stole the shield for you. I broke you guys out of prison. I can't go back to America now. So now I'm living here as an outlaw." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, they're looking, she's living lavish. She's like, I had to adapt to the lifestyle. I got, I got a certain set of skills. Worked for the, for Shield. I mean, I got a certain set of skills. So now she's looks like a high paid outlaw, you know what I'm saying? And she has all this shit going on. But she's like, or she said something to them like, yeah, you guys went back and were seen as heroes, but you had the Avengers to help you, get back into this shit because, they,
Sure.
this guy killed people, you know what I'm saying? With the soldier killed people and Falcon, escaped, prison and stuff, and they were forgiven. She's like, I'm out here now with no country,
Wow.
And
So-
also look at the difference what you just brought up, the difference between Bucky and Isaiah. Bucky murdered people. hundreds of people.
Yep.
And is got a pardon, a conditional pardon, is on parole.
Yep.
Living in a normal life, and they're helping him. Where Isaiah is living in
And he was rehabilitated in Wakanda.
in the ghetto, and no one knows about him.
Yep.
And they just, and he has every right to be. I thought they were going to start fighting right there and there. When he slammed that thing into the wall, I was like, oh, shit, there's about to be a fight.
Yep.
That would have been a good scene, though.
Yeah. But he told him, he goes, yeah, oh, you got your arm back. Yeah, I nearly ripped half that fucking thing off of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Good stuff, man.
But, yeah, the realism with that is so great, other than you remember the versions of when we were kids of the Hulk and Thor and Iron Man and all that.
Oh
it was
man, that
Captain
stuff was,
America.
Yeah,
It was
so
just
cheesy looking. I mean, except for the Lou Ferrigno Hulk, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
No CGI.
Yeah, no CGI.
No CGI.
No CGI. But I love how that they're using these TV shows to bridge their movies.
Yeah.
Where
Absolutely.
you'll sit there and we'll watch WandaVision. Now you got to wait for the movies to come out to fill in the
link it all,
blanks.
yeah.
And it will link it. It will go back. Same
Yep.
thing with Winter Soldier. It's going to be one season, but it's used to catapult the other movies.
Yeah,
And
so smart.
I don't see any other studio ever
No.
doing anything like that.
You think about
I bet you the writing staff is probably at Big Ash Cigar writing these scripts because they're so well done.
They're smoking cigars.
Smoking, yeah, exactly.
Those are the guys who come in and read. They're really writing scripts.
when you think about it like that, when they called it
They looked at Lamont and say, "Oh, he could be Black Captain America."
black in America. Yo, remember that scene that Black Falcon? Well, he know him as Black Falcon because
He was. I had the action figure when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was labeled Black Falcon.
It was.
And
I
I
had 'em.
explained that to my daughters.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't understand. I'm like, do you see what they just did? And they was like, no. I'm like, when we were growing up, he was called Black Falcon.
Yeah,
that's what they
was,
did to black superheroes.
Yeah.
Like
They always
black,
had the black,
whatever,
black.
black.
It wasn't
you know?
just Panther.
Black,
It was
Yeah, Black Panther, saying and everything. So it was black always in front of it. And he told the kid, he's like, hey, Black Falcon. He's like, yo, why would you call me that? He's like, because you're black. He's like, well, what if I called you Black Kid? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm glad that, they're dropping some of those,
But that's the detail.
Labels.
What's the,
they go into it.
what was
Yes.
the
take
detail.
the
I would
time.
like to see what even their writing style. I mean, there's so much research that these guys got to be reading these old comic books. Saying, we're gonna pull that. We're gonna pull that out.
Bro,
We're
the
gonna bring
heights that
out.
they put us on. I mean, this year has been, 15 years in the making?
Yeah.
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 To get the end game,
Yep.
you know what I mean, and all the spinoffs and all.
And it
this
doesn't
stuff
seem
coming.
that long.
It doesn't seem that long, but it's like we've been on this ride, and they've been teasing us with the Infinity Stones,
Yep.
and we still watching this shit and still not getting that we are watching the Infinity War.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then they pull it all together. You know what I mean? And
The writing is so well done and it engages the audience so good that we are willing to sit an extra 15 minutes after the movie's over to see that
Hoping.
10-minute snip.
hoping.
To-
A minute. It's like
Sitting there-
a minute, 30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
You know, the
Especially
post credit.
The post credits of WandaVision were so goddamn long. It was a good 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
you
that
had to go
one,
with
yep.
the U.S. credits and then the
Yep.
overseas credits,
Yep.
and then the first three had nothing at the end. So you're sitting through it, and you're like, oh shit, and then you're fast forwarding to see,
Yep.
and then they started throwing little post credit scenes. You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Wait. You mind blown. I didn't see any post credits. I gave up.
dude, like the
I didn't
last
see
four
any of them.
episodes, not the very last. Even the very
to your
last
point,
episode.
like the first three didn't have any. So I'm like, oh, they don't have them. So after they were
You didn't see the post credit at the last episode.
None of them.
Oh my god!
I gotta go back. Like mind blown.
The post scene at the end of the very last episode throws it into multiverse of madness.
No way.
Yeah, that's the thing. And here's the other thing: if you went online,
You got a
when
mind blown.
WandaVision first
You got a mind
started,
blown sound effect for that.
the last
That's awesome.
what was I gonna say? Now I forgot.
Multiverse.
of Madness. Yes, that last scene when that's it. If you went online and you saw all the fan fiction and all the where this is gonna go, and then totally nothing because they were like, oh, here's the great kid, this person coming in, Strange coming in, this person coming in, and you had none of it. And all our geekdom online was so sad because people were coming up with these ideas for each episode and proving true, but they would throw these little bits in it.
Yeah.
And they told you, yeah, we did that on purpose. We did that on purpose
Yes.
to keep you off your toes. So
Yeah.
we would throw little things in and get everybody to think, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then totally go a different way with
They
it.
would do that in the trailers, like when they were doing the movies with the Avengers and everything. They were, and some of the trailers never made it to the movies, but they were just stuff to make you think that it's going in one direction. Even some of the production photos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have you thinking that they were going in one direction. They would put certain people in like next to another person or something like that, make you, oh my God, this person is this or this person's gonna do this, and then they totally went another direction in the movies to keep you on your toes.
It's awesome. Good stuff. Good
So
stuff.
I think the next series coming out would be Photon. That's another series that's coming out. She's getting her own Rambo. The girl.
Oh, yeah, Monica
she's
Rambo.
Getting, she's
Yeah.
getting her own series.
Yeah, yep. It looked like they set that up.
Yeah, that's why they set that up. And then you got the Multiverse of Madness coming on, which is going to delve into more of Scarlet Witch's troubles with Doctor Strange. So that's going to be great, how they just branch off and see these other movies. But I think her Rambo's thing is going to just be online series.
Yeah.
It's not. It may not be a movie yet, but they're
Okay.
going to do several seasons of her show.
Yeah.
But I can't wait till they start and see how. My thought is that they're going to use Scarlet Witch to start bringing mutants in there.
Yes.
That's when they're going to start bringing in Wolverine and
Yeah.
all that in there.
Yep. Yeah, because they haven't talked about that at all.
Yeah,
that
they
there's
haven't
mutants
mentioned
out there
mutants at all
in that whole
in
Marvel MCU.
Yeah.
They're going to need to reconsider. They're going to need to consider recasting also, because some of those characters, some of the actors for the like X-Men series they're up there. You
Yeah,
know
they
what I mean?
predate
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marvel.
absolutely.
MCU,
Fox
Yeah.
did it. If you think about it now, Fox really did a terrible job with X-Men. I mean,
Yeah.
the Apocalypse one, he looks so
Terrible.
Yeah.
terrible.
Terrible.
They should have did CGI like they did with Thanos.
Yep.
But they had that guy. Actually, the guy who played the Mandalorian was him.
No, it was another dude. That was like Pascal something. is the
Yeah, he
Mandalorian.
plays the Mandalorian.
Yeah, he wasn't. Who was that? Apocalypse. But
Apocalypse.
Yeah, he
and,
wasn't.
the-
that was the other guy. What did he play in? The younger actor. They look similar. They're similar. I can't
but
remember his name. But
he
yeah.
looked awful.
They're
Yeah.
terrible.
He looked
Yeah.
terrible.
I don't
Yeah.
want to go down that path, but you know how I feel about the whole Wolverine. Like, he's arguably one of the best
Yeah.
Marvel
Give us
characters
your take
ever.
on that. Give us your take.
Oh
on
my
Wolverine.
goodness!
Go ahead.
Without going too far into it, man, like they did
He's
a terrible
good. He's
job.
no Batman, but he's all right.
He got his butt whipped.
Batman.
Got his butt whipped every time.
That's
His
the thing.
samurai and his karate techniques were never utilized. You know, like he had one instant where they used his actual
Berserker.
his berserker mode. Like, it was one instant. I mean, it was decent, but the true size. We always talk about this. The true size of Wolverine is only like 5'4", 5'5". Hugh Jackman's like 6'2". Yeah,
And that's what, from what I read, that they're thinking about getting somebody that actual size. But Hugh Jackman is so loved in that
Yeah.
spot. It's going to be hard.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully
He was
it's
a
like
good Wolverine.
hopefully it's like the Joker, where everybody thought Jack Nicholson no one could top that.
Yeah.
And then you have the new Batman series, and the Joker
Yep.
it was better, but it was the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Joker, I mean that.
Yeah, I
that
know what you
character.
mean. That flathead's getting to you.
Yeah, did you eat first? That's another thing too, man.
It's the iced coffee.
Yeah, it's another thing.
Iced coffee.
Gotta-
Need some Wild Irish to go with that.
Can't. Cigar tip number.
Scar tip number
If
12.
you're gonna
Clear your
smoke
throat.
a full body cigar, make sure you have a full stomach.
Take some Mucinex before you eat that.
And you know what? Yeah, and just to reflect back on Hugh Jackman, every time he was smoking a cigar, they never had the ring on it. I never knew what he was smoking. I didn't appreciate that. He was probably smoking the Thompsons.
Well, he would smoke anything. Remember in the Logan, he just stole the cigars from the gas station.
Yes,
He
that was
grabbed the
great.
whole thing.
Yeah,
That's great.
That was the best version of Logan I thought so far of Logan was
Logan?
Old Man.
Old
Logan.
man Logan. I think he's coming back to do that again, right?
I hope so, because that
Yeah.
was
That was hot.
what everybody wanted. They wanted to see him really use his claws. I mean,
Yep.
he's stabbing guys through the head
Yes.
and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And another time where they showed what happens if superheroes go crazy.
Yeah.
X couldn't control it. He would get
Yes.
these seizures and
Yes.
fucking paralyzed half the country.
Did you like that, Chris? Because you're not happy with a lot of movies, but
You know what?
Old Man Logan.
The first time I had an issue with it, and then I watched it again. Chris was like, "You need to rewatch it." I think actually I think you both said to me, "I need to rewatch it." And the second time around, I was like, "Yeah, okay, I like it. Like I'm with it. Like I'm with it." The other X-Men movies, no, there's not anything I could pick out of it.
No, they were
I mean,
adequate for the time, but they don't hold up.
Magneto was close to being done well, but because I like the they did a good job describing Magneto and Charles X's relationship. I thought that was well done. That's probably the only highlight of the entire X-Men thing.
The only good part of scene I liked of Magneto is I think it was the Phoenix Saga where he was on the train and he had the fight scene.
Yes.
And he's using his abilities
Yeah.
to stab him and crush him. And I
Yep.
was like, why haven't they done that before with Magneto?
Mm-hmm.
It's always here. I'm going to paralyze you and bring metal and raise metal in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they don't show how he works his abilities.
Yes.
And that was great. You know, the
Yep.
guy with the punch up, he put the thing up, crushed his hand and threw it, stabbed the guy in the neck and all that. That part was awesome.
That train scene was
that train
amazing.
scene was amazing. And that's what I'm glad about how now Marvel's starting to do their stuff.
Yeah.
Now that it's in Marvel's hands, it seems like that group is like, all right, we got to do this the way similar to and I know they can't do everything like the comic books because book and picture don't transfer well together.
Yeah.
When you go from a comic book or for a book to a movie.
Yeah.
I understand that. And I accept all that. But I love the way they're doing it. It's great. And it's a great time if you're a comic book person to sit there and go, wow, this is great. And I know that a lot of prominent directors are shitting on the Marvel, like Scorsese's shitting on the Marvel movies, but they are what they are. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I think Scorsese and I hear what's his name too. What's his name? Quentin Tarantino.
yeah.
They're shitting on him because they're shitting on him because it makes it harder for them to do their thing now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're now, like I said, they're moving into different genres.
Yeah, they got to compete now.
Yeah, so it's like, not even a comic book, but just superheroes. People are taking the superhero powered individuals and they're making them, in romantic, movies. They're putting them in, like horror flicks, and they're putting them in, action. It already had action. So now it's making it hard there for them to get the funding, to make a big movie. Because I'd rather, if I'm going to give you, Scorsese, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars to make this movie that's going to be amazing, that's going to probably double our bread. But no, I might give it over here to this super powered movie that's going to probably triple or quadruple our bread. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, like I said, it's kind of a great time to be a comic book fan. I mean,
It is, definitely.
The newer comic books are now like so PC. Mm-hmm. People have said, read the old ones, and I kind of started reading Civil War.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get some of the older ones that are tied into these movies so I can see the differences and the similarities between the movies and the differences between the movies. But it for me as a comic book fan, I'm like, this shit is great. This stuff is great. I mean, every movie so far, even the ones I thought would be bad, weren't bad at all. Like, I thought the first Captain America was going to be shit.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't a Captain America fan.
Yep.
But looking at that first Avenger, I was like, wow. And
Yeah.
I would love to see more interaction with the Red Skull. Mm-hmm. But they took him out right after.
Straight out
and put him in, you didn't see him again until years later.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, even with the successful Snyder Cut, there was rumor that maybe they re-release Endgame with all the stuff they took out and make it like a 4-hour type movie and show it online. But we'll see on that. Wow, we got a lot in this time, and this was a great, smooth conversation.
It was. I felt like we were choppy at first, but like once we, everyone relaxed, I felt everything went pretty good.
So, any parting words or anything? for?
No,
Promote the shop again.
Big Ash Cigar Lounge in 448 Route 376, Hopewell Junction, New York. Come on by, grab a stick and chill, or you can grab a stick and take it home with you.
So if you're in the Fishkill, Wappingers, Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County area of New York, stop into the Big Ash Cigar Lounge. If you're a smoker, pick up a cigar, have some friendly conversation. Everybody is really nice here and welcoming, and we thank everybody who listens to this. And we're going to do more. So if you're feeding for more, don't worry, we're going to do more. But this is our maiden podcast.
Yes.
Chris had to partake or to leave, but he would like to thank you guys also.
Yep.
And Lamont, thank you for your time and giving us
Before we go, plug the podcast. What is the name?
Herf House Podcast, which will be on Spotify and on iTunes. So look up Herf House Podcast. There is a YouTube page. This will be on the YouTube page. This will be on the parts will be on TikTok and parts will be on Instagram. So please listen to the Herf House Podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it. And if you have any ideas or any comments and concern or anything, Herf House Podcast at gmail.com. It's tied into the YouTube page. So just send us a message. And we'd be greatly appreciated if you guys would listen. So once again, thank you. Thank you, Lamont, for letting us use your establishment, your beautiful establishment, to
Thank you for
do
putting this together.
maiden voyage of podcastium. So thank you all, and have a good weekend or week. Bye.
Peace.